Hi guys! Welcome to Russian with Passion. As you can guess, here we study Russian. Namely, today we're going to talk about reflexive verbs. There will be two parts where we will talk about the reflexive verbs in Russian. In the first video, I will tell you the basics. What are reflexive verbs? How they are formulated, how they are formed, and so on. And in the second video, we are going to take a look at more examples and see what categories of reflexive verbs there are in Russian. Now let's start with the basics, as I have already promised. What are reflexive verbs? We use reflexive verbs to indicate the concept of self. So in English, we would say to wash yourself, to shave yourself, and so on. Self. Not necessarily yourself, but myself, himself, themselves, and so on. Я помыл машину. I washed the car. Here it's not a reflexive verb, it's a usual verb, because we have an object, and the subject and the object are not the same person. While when we deal with reflexive verbs, the subject and the object should mean the same person, the same thing. So that's why я помылся, I washed myself, помылся is a reflexive verb. Here there will be a difference. Я помылся if you are a male, and я помылась if you are a female. Я оделся. I dressed myself. I'm a male. Well, actually, I'm a female. That's why I should say я оделась. There is a pattern here. You'll notice that, and we'll discuss how these verbs are formed a little bit later. Now you just need to understand the concept, the idea. So you do something to yourself, or somebody else does something to himself or herself. So we indicate the concept of self. Myself, yourself, himself, ourselves, themselves, and so on. Ты побрился? It's a question. Have you shaved? Well, we can substitute the sentence with another sentence, which is a little bit awkward, but, well, it shows the idea. Ты побрил себя? This sentence is very close to the English one, have you washed yourself? Because we use the reflexive pronoun себя. However, this sentence is not very common. Here we better use the reflexive verbs. Although я помыл себя, well, can also exist. It's also possible. So remember, the subject and the object are the same person. You do something to yourself. Now, how are reflexive verbs formed? The rules are quite simple. Reflexive verbs are conjugated in the same way as other verbs. So we should conjugate them in the same way as other verbs. But we should add s, the soft sign, when the form ends in a vowel, and we should add s, ya, ся, when the form ends not in a vowel. For example, it could be a consonant or the soft sign. Now, let's take a look at two verbs. Одевать, it's a usual verb to dress somebody. And одеваться, to dress yourself. First, let's conjugate одевать in present. Я одеваю. Ты одеваешь. Он одевает. Она одевает. Оно одевает. Мы одеваем. Вы одеваете. Они одевают. And now, to create the reflexive verb forms, we need to add the suitable suffixes. When the form ends in a vowel, like here, you is a vowel, we add s. And when the form ends in a consonant or a soft sign, so not a vowel, we add ся. For example, here, the soft sign, that's why we add ся. Here, t. It is a consonant, that's why we add ся. So let's conjugate одеваться in present. To dress yourself. Я одеваюсь. I dress myself. Ты одеваешься. You dress yourself. Он одевается. He dresses himself. Она одевается. She dresses herself. Оно одевается. It dresses itself. Мы одеваемся. We dress ourselves. Вы одеваетесь. You dress yourselves. Они одеваются. They dress themselves. Okay, so that's it. Now let's take a look, for example, at the past tense forms. And once again practice adding с or ся. First, try to do it yourself. Conjugate these verbs одевать, одеваться in the past, and then we'll check. First of all, let's take a look at the past forms of the verb одевать. It's not reflexive. To dress somebody. Я одевал, if you are a male. Я одевала, if you are a female. Ты одевал, male. Ты одевала, female. Он одевал. Она одевала. Оно одевало. Мы одевали. Вы одевали. Они одевали. And now let's conjugate the verb одеваться in the past, the reflexive verb. So when the form ends in a vowel, for example, e, we should add s. When the form ends in a consonant or the soft sign, we should add ся. Я одевался. Я одевалась. Ты одевался. Ты одевалась. Он одевался. Она одевалась. Оно одевалось. Мы одевались. Вы одевались. Они одевались. So these are the forms and these are the rules. They are quite logical. Just remember when we add which suffix. Now we're going to talk about different kinds of reflexive verbs. There are several. In this video, we'll focus on the simple reflexive verbs, which are clearly reflexive. And in English, we use the concept of self. So the subject and the object are the same person. Я брею ноги. I shave my legs. This is not a reflexive verb. But я бреюсь. I shave myself. This is a reflexive verb. Бриться. Когда ты уже оденешься? When will you dress already? Dress yourself, I mean. And that's why оденешься is the present form of a reflexive verb. Одеться. Here we deal with perfective and imperfective verbs, both types. Over here I gave you a couple of examples, the most frequently used ones, and these forms are imperfective. But we should know that their perfective equivalents are included here too. Одеваться. It is imperfective, to dress yourself. Одеться. Perfective, also to dress yourself. If you do not remember the difference between perfective and imperfective, take a look at this class over here. But we move back to the reflexive verbs. Раздеваться. To undress yourself. Раздеться. To undress yourself, but the perfective verb. Бриться. To shave yourself. Побриться. To shave yourself. Perfective. Мыться. Wash yourself. Помыться. Wash yourself. Perfective. Умываться. Wash yourself. But here we mean to wash your face and hands. This is умываться. Imperfective. Умыться. Perfective. Краситься. To dye your hair or put on your makeup. It depends on the context, but the meaning can be different. So, краситься. To do it, imperfective. Покраситься would be to dye your hair, perfective. Накраситься would be to put on makeup, perfective. Do not forget that if we remove ся, we'll have usual verbs here. Одевать, to dress somebody. Раздевать, to undress somebody. Брить, to shave somebody or something. Мыть, to wash. Умывать. It is possible. Я умываю своего ребенка. I'm washing my baby. I mean, I wash his or her hands and face. Умывать. Красить. To dye. To paint. To put on makeup on somebody else. But when we deal with the reflexive verbs, do not forget that the subject and the object are the same person. When we deal with simple reflexive verbs, there are other types of reflexive verbs, and the situation changes a little bit there, but we'll take a look at them in our next class. So, as I have promised, in this video I told you about reflexive verbs, the basics. What are they? How are they formed? What are the most frequently used ones, the simple reflective verbs? In our next video devoted to reflexive verbs, we'll talk about them more. We'll talk about more types, which are not that simple, a little bit more complicated, which are common for Russian, not for English or other languages. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope that you found this class useful. If you did, please press the button, like it, share it, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to continue studying Russian with me, and I hope to see you soon. Happy Russian and English practice. Bye-bye. Make sure to watch the second part of reflexive verbs in the Russian language.